Hi, and welcome to Mods. We're keeping you connected to inspiring science with virtual camp discovery, brought to you by Citrix, the museum's official innovation partner. Bring your can-do attitude for today's kitchen physics experiment, where we'll crush a can using only air. Can we do it? Yes, we can.
Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm here in our Storm Center exhibit at the Museum of Discovery and Science, and we're going to be talking about air pressure today. So I have a couple of experiments set up to demonstrate this, but first let's talk about what that really means, right? We hear a lot about air pressure and fronts and things like that, high pressure, low pressure systems when we're talking about weather, and especially when we're talking about tropical systems like hurricanes or tropical depressions. Air pressure is dictated by a number of forces. One of them, the main one we might be demonstrating here today, is temperature. Typically, when you have very hot air, it gets less dense, and so it exists at a lower pressure than cold air, which is a lot more dense, and especially if it's not moving and stagnant, it can be a very high pressure atmosphere. And so when those two systems, when very hot air and very cold air merge together, especially coming from maybe different areas of the globe where there might be other climate factors like temperature, precipitation, it could cause some very extreme results, like hurricanes and other powerful tropical storms. We get a lot of that happening here in the southeast of the United States, particularly in Florida, where we're on a peninsula, where we get weather fronts coming from all directions sometimes. And sometimes there's very cold air, very hot air, and it could cause some very intense reactions like the powerful storms we get even on a daily basis here in South Florida. So what I have here is a tray of very cold water. And I also have 2 soda cans on this hot plate here. Now there's just a little bit of water covering the bottom of the soda cans, just enough to create a little bit of moisture so that the hot plate can make the air inside the can very hot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tongs here and I'm going to flip this can over into the cold water. Now what we're expecting to happen is when I do that, when the hot air in the can meets the extreme opposite temperature of the cold water, it's going to create a little bit of a vacuum so that the high pressure, high density, cold air surrounding the can coming from here in the museum is going to collapse in on the can itself. So I'm going to flip the can over now in one fluid motion. We're going to go from 3, 2, 1. So you can see that the can is completely collapsed as if you had crushed it under your foot or something. But the can was crushed just with the power of the air pressure of the difference created by the differences in temperature from the cold coming from the water and the heat coming from inside the can. When those two merged, it was a powerful enough force for the air around the can to crush it. Now, we're going to try another version of this experiment that might be just a little safer. Maybe you can get a grown-up to help you. You can try this at home. All it takes is an empty 2-liter bottle. So if you have an empty soda bottle laying around, and a cap, and some hot water. So all I'm going to do for this, I'm going to take some hot water. Now this is pretty hot water, so this is the part that you might need adult supervision for. And I'm just going to pour some of it in this bottle. Now you can already see some fog condensing. Now that's from the hot water evaporating as soon as it hits the cold air. It's breaking apart and turning into water vapor, and you can see those water molecules kind of crystallizing on the inside of the bottle. But what I really want to do is I want to make the air inside the bottle really hot. So I'm going to shake it up. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up for just a minute or so until the air in the bottle is really hot. Now granted, air in the museum today is a little cold. We got the AC cranking. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour out this water, and as soon as I pour out the water, I'm going to put the cap back on. And now the air inside the bottle is a lot hotter, and so therefore less dense, with lower pressure than the air outside of it from the museum. And you can see just that difference in temperature, just that difference in pressure is collapsing the bottle in on itself, kind of like the can did. It's maybe not as powerful or explosive, but it demonstrates the power of air pressure. Again, this take-home experiment just involves a 2-liter bottle and some hot water. Make sure to pour out the hot water once the air inside the bottle gets hot, and you can have this demonstration. And as soon as I open the bottle, you can see the air pressure restoring back to normal. So this is our demonstration about air pressure, and we hope to see you again soon. Make sure to follow along for more.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Virtual Camp Discovery. Special thanks to Citrix, Mod's official innovation partner, for powering this series. Please stay safe and connected with Mods by visiting our social channels at MODSFTL.